Hey guys, so new topic for the day today is talk is still cheap. And the reason I wanted to bring that up is because, Levon Shagness Philly has been pretty quiet, as we know, throughout this whole thing. But he kind of said some crazy things too. And there's a lesson to be took from that, because if you're an arm wrestler, you're gonna have, and you're active, and you want to get better, and you want to rise in rankings, or you want to win medals, or you want to win titles, then guess what? You're gonna have to face competition. And so in that competition, you're gonna have to see. I've always had this philosophy in life, and the philosophy has been, I always want to think about and plan scenarios and almost kind of prepare myself with some kind of plan of how I'm going to act if something happens. Because if you don't make a plan, then everything is left up to a reaction at that point. And I don't know about you guys, but oftentimes whenever I just react off the cuff, sometimes I say things and sometimes I do things that I normally wouldn't say or wouldn't do. Case in point, Levon Shagness Philly, this is up to my knowledge and social media wise, this match with Devon was the first time that he's ever had to banter back and forth with another person before he put his arm down on the table. I mean, I could be 100% wrong, and as a matter of fact, I probably am wrong to a certain extent. I'm sure that in his hometown coming up, or maybe amongst his own team, or him and Irakli or whatever, that they've had words back and forth about, oh, I'm gonna crush you, oh, I'm gonna bust your hand, and all this shit, And so it's like, so in that, when things, go up in level and the fire gets turned up and things are more intense, I can banter back and forth with my team like nothing. They can call me anything under the sun, and I can poke fun at them, and we can all kind of laugh it off. But you start putting me on a larger stage, and you start, videotaping stuff, and or let there be a big crowd present, and let it be somebody who I don't know, who I'm not friends with, who I don't have memories with, who I don't have feelings for, who aren't helping me achieve my goal of being stronger. That's something you always ought to remember about your own teammates when you get frustrated about them. Is, they're part of your story. They're the ones that are gonna allow you to get in bad positions and train, train your hook, or your flop press, or your whatever it may be, just barely, flirting with the edge of a dangerous position, and you have to trust that person to, not hit, and to be respectful, just give you good pressure so you can get stronger, but not, lay your shit over the table, and vice versa. And so when you're getting crunk up and you're getting competitive with your teammates, don't say crazy mess. Don't just get mad and then, or drunk and mad or whatever, and just flying off the mouth and cussing their mama and everything else, because then you got to practice with them a week later. And same thing applies for Levon. He should not have said exactly what he said, I don't think, about, Devon talking to me like that. People talk in my country like that, they get killed and shit like that. He should have thought that out, because now here they are sitting on a bench, looking friendly, or taking a photo shoot in the same room. It just looks foolish, man. What it is Devon called him a 396-pound pussy, and now some people are looking like, yeah, well, that was confirmed. At first it was an accusation, and now when you go sit next to the guy and smiling, in the photo shoot, it's kind of evidence now, because you weren't about what you were talking about. But that could have all been avoided, because you never should have took it there, because you should have planned ahead of time, and you should have said, you know what, if somebody insults me, if somebody pushes my buttons, I'm going to be ready for it, and this is what I'm going to say. Especially if you're a high-level athlete. If you're a high-level athlete, if you're a Mike Tyson, if you're a Devon Larratt, if you're a Levon Shagness Philly, any of those guys, you need to keep your ego in check, for one, and for two, you need to to plan out what you're going to do if certain people treat you a certain kind of way, because there's not going to be any living this down. I mean, you know, it's all over social media. People have copies of it. People have videos of it, and it's kind of out there. So now it is, you know, because it's funny because one of his goals was to not lose a round. Am I right? Don't lose one round. So he really cares about his image, and he really cares about, you know what I mean, like his entire name and his whole, you know, his whole track record and his history and the way he conducts himself. He didn't want to lose a round. Well, let me just go ahead and say that from a trash talking standpoint, and from a, you know, up to whenever you're trying to continue to push the match and continue to banter back and forth with Devon and try to get it in front of more people and try to sell more pay-per-views, when it comes down to the promoting end of the match, then I must say that Levon Sagnas-Philly definitely lost a round on that. So just keep that in mind, folks. Hey, listen, where am I coming from? I'm speaking to myself more than I'm speaking to anybody. But I just want to say that in the day of social media, you know, when there's video and it gets saved and it's put in the cloud and people have it and they can, you know, you get on YouTube, you can pull videos up from 15 years ago. So just think about that when you're out there trash talking, you know, your rival or whoever it may be. Just don't put your foot in your mouth, you know, and it won't taste like shit. All right, brothers. Just think about it. You can't kick somebody's ass and then put your foot in your mouth. Because if your foot's been in somebody's ass, it's going to taste like shit. I'll let your boy like and subscribe.